Okay, we're back, and we're at the door of doom, which isn't really doomful. All I have to do is just push the buttons that are now been activated by the three we got earlier, and there we go. Now we can go on to the next area, which has this cannon and a clay lake. I'm not exactly sure how a clay lake would work, or a lake made out of clay would work, but whatever, there it is. Then again, I shouldn't really question the ecosystem of clay in a game like this when everything is pretty absurd and weird to begin with. Speaking of weird and absurd, here's a little monitor. We have to push a button to get symbols. Now each time you press a button, a new symbol appears, and you want to write these down. And of course, they're all abstract and weird and really difficult to write down. But you can still do it, and yeah, each one you just gotta write down in order. There's an order for a solution later on. And you hear that sound with that symbol? It actually means there's a different symbol when at a time when you have to solve it. And you need to use that symbol instead of the one shown there. You'll see what I mean when we eventually get to the part where we have to use this. Because, you know, adventure games and puzzles. And there's another puzzle in there, but first, let's check out that cannon, shall we? That seems interesting. Hey. So yeah, this is the cannon, and those symbols down there, if you remember in the last part, I actually found symbols on a wall that were glowing. This is where you put in, at least can put in one of them, although it doesn't really matter because you need to put in the second one over on the right later on anyway. But for now, I'm just going to put it in here, and something's supposed to show up, but I'm a symbol off, but whatever. Let's just fire the cannon. I meant to do that. Well, actually, yes, I did actually mean to do that because that's what you're supposed to do, to progress, to go down the lake bed. Because there's a radio tower thing down there. Also a drain. Don't question it, it's the Neverhood. And let's just... I'm just messing around here with the symbols, which I was just one off because my drawing of symbols is not that good. Now you see a coordinates thing popped up. We can click on that to go up, but we still need a second one, and we need a second one to progress later on with something, but that's not going to come into factor till later on. We can, however, fire a cannon into nothing, complete with the stock crow sound effect that I believe was used in Earthworm Jim from Psychro. That's good old Doug Tenaple for you. And I believe it's Doug Tenaple, not Tenaple. I tend to mispronounce names all the time anyway. Could be my non-existent Canadian accent. Whatever. Let's just go in here. Now, in order to get down into that drain lake bed, we need to solve this puzzle. And in order to solve this one, you see the symbol? You need to match it with the clay piece in order to stack them all together here. So it's all about, it's just a 3D puzzle piece, puzzle pieces basically. And of course, if you get one wrong, they all fall and you got to redo the whole thing. But eventually, and I guess you can even through trial and error, it's not that difficult. All you have to do is just not screw up like I'm doing here. You just got to keep at it, and eventually you can just sort of solve it. Although every time you mess up, the pieces get all thrown about, and they can like, and so it's kind of hard to sort of determine, like, you gotta imagine rotate, 3D dimensions and stuff. You gotta compensate for that. And once we saw that, we push the arrow down. Now we can go down to the lake bed, which created a stairway down to the lake bed with the bridge. So let's just head on over down and see what's down there. Graceful as always. Alright, now that we're down here, there's more areas to explore and things to do. So there's that radio tower thing that was inexplicably down in the lake. Again, don't question it. And what's this over here? Danger, don't jump, you will die. Oh yeah? Well, I'm just gonna save the game here. Because, why not? I figure I might as well. If we're doing something like this anyway. And let's just go right in. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you liked the LP. No, I'm just kidding. That's just a way to end the game. You even get credits and stuff afterwards, but no. We're not going to end it on that, obviously. So let's just load up and head towards this. It's another little trolley thing from earlier. Except this is a more extensive use of this, as you'll see in a second here. There are multiple ways to go, and there's quite a few tracks, and they go on for quite a bit. So this is a bit of a meandering part where you're just sort of just going along these clay tracks in this clay trolley in this clay world as claymen. Clay, 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 clay. But at least we got some nice mellow music to go along on our little ride here. And one thing I didn't mention in the last part is that around the time that I was actually getting around to making this LP, like recording the game and all that, there's been news that a new spiritual successor to this game was being made. It's going to be made by Doug TeNapel and a few other people that actually worked on the Neverhood. Wow, I can't even say Neverhood correctly half the time. I always call it Netherhood for some reason. I don't know why. But besides the point, that is quite good news for those of us that actually know about and even play the Neverhood like I have. And, with me it's more recently, and then there's this recent news about a spiritual successor to this, and that's always good. So, we'll see what that's going to be like. And there's this really long track going up to this little house here. And if we look in here, and then, oh look, this is actually Willie's room with the W on the bed, and there's this picture of his dad, which is actually one of the 7 kings. That's Ottoborg, I believe. And actually, Ottoborg and Willie and all that, and how Willie came to the Neverhood, is depicted into the under Ottoborg's section in the Hall of Records. So it's basically pretty much like the Bible for this world, really, a clay world of a Bible, I guess. And there's a monument plaque. Instead of Holborg, it's Clog. Now, Clog is actually, I guess you could say, the main antagonist of this game, but we won't see him just yet. But there's a little hint telling you of kind of what happened with the Neverhood. So, I'm just cutting some parts here of me just frolicking about, well, not frolicking, trolleying about I don't even know if that's a correct term, but anyway, we're going around to this area here, and notice those little vials here. That's actually a solution to a puzzle later on, so you may want to keep note of that, obviously. I believe it stays the same throughout each game, but I'm not exactly sure. And if we just go down here, it's a dead end. Yeah, there's a dead end in this maze-like area, I guess you could say. But for the most part, there's just a few directions to go, so it's not really hard to get lost or anything in this. It's just sort of just, you gotta keep going on these tracks, which can go on for quite a while, but nothing that's too, like, overly excessive, I guess you could say. It's just, you just gotta find a few key areas. Well, there's mostly just one key area you have to find, that's this. Now, this is a radio on the wall, and that's actually a solution to a puzzle in another room later on. And that bell you heard earlier is also another clue that you need to actually activate said puzzle. So, let's just go on through the squishy lake bed. Yes, very squishy. And let's actually head over to this, it's actually the radio room. And there's another clay disc there. Yeah, almost all the clay discs are pretty much just found laying in the middle of the floor. And we can't go through this door here, but we need to actually mess with the radio, but we can't right now. We actually need to turn it on. In order to turn it on, we need to go back to the first area, more specifically the nursery, where we first started out. So let's just head on back up here and climb the stairs. Man, Clayman really booked it up those stairs. Shame he's not very graceful going down them, even when you do it a second time. So anyway, in order to get back, we just raise the bridge up, and now we can go back to the nursery to activate the radio. Now you may be asking, how do you activate the radio? Well, remember those rings you had to pull down? Well, one of them you have to pull down in order to activate the radio. Or more specifically, just turn it on. Well, I guess it's the same thing, the redundancy. Alright, so we need to click on this ring, and once we pull that, we hear the bell sound, which we heard earlier when we first found the wall radio, which means now the radio in this area is now activated, and we can hear it. And we need to match the radio in order to open the other door, but there is a lot of other radio stations. And some of these songs are pretty hilarious and weird and wacky, as you'll see here. That moves the radio dish, and now we can select our songs. And there's a lot of them, trust me. And be prepared for some really weird ones.
Number 8. Number 8. Number 8.
Pretty sure that one's played backwards or something. This is a song that we actually need to open the door, but let's check out the others first.
Thirsty. I need Wawa.
That's one of my favorites there. Yeah, whatever that was.
Coffee. Hot Joe. Java. Bean squeezers. Java Jive.
He liked his coffee.
Spring has sprung, and spring has hearts a-glowing. Spring has come, and all our hearts are glowing. Spring has...
Couldn't come any sooner these days, huh? Sponsored by Listerine.
Ow! Ow! Oh, oh, oh. 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 Oh! Oh! Ow!
Youch. Not sure if that was Terry Scott Taylor sped up or something there.
Sound effects record number 32. Man reading. Man relaxing. Woman in outer space. Man watching television with volume at 0. Man watching silent movie. Freeway sound from 20 miles away. Lunch at the recording studio. Man getting a bright idea. Woman handling a situation with kid gloves. A mime and his audience. Tree falling in the forest. Dead insect. A swarm of dead insects. Sound effects record number 32.
Ah, now that's a classic. Always good for a laugh track.
Sound effects record number 33. Man facing backwards taking a shower.
Yeah! Yeah. Oh, that's the same one! Ah! Jeez! Yeah, watch your volume when it comes to that stuff like that. Anyway, that's about all the songs, so let's just turn this back to that one song in order to open the one door. Now, of course, when you open the one door, the other closes, so you need to deactivate the radio or turn it back all the way back to the first song in order to go back. But anyway, let's go through here.